Hi everyone. Hi everyone and welcome. So today we're going to be doing some chair and standing yoga, including some breath work and some meditation. So my name is Caitlin Brown from Mindful Detroit, and this class is sponsored by the Corktown Health Center. So let's get started. Taking a moment to sit tall, and you can sit in a chair like I'm doing. If you do have your yoga mat out and you want to sit on a cushion, you can do that as well. But a yoga mat is not required for this class, so you can use just a chair and standing. Just getting adjusted here. Okay. So let's take a moment to center and just notice how we're feeling. Maybe you close your eyes here, or if you want to keep them open, gazing away from the screen for a few moments. Letting your eyes soften, maybe gazing down. Check in with your energy level. If you're feeling a little anxious or kind of amped up and you want to ground and calm, bring your palms down on your thighs or your knees. If you're feeling kind of tired or depressed, low energy, bring your palms face up to invite more energy in. And just doing whichever feels best for you. You can always have one hand up, one down. Noticing if there's different areas of the body that might feel tight or tense. Also areas of the body that could feel relaxed, soft. And other areas that might feel neutral or that it's hard to feel sensation. Just being present with whatever is coming up. Notice thoughts in your mind. Mind can be busy, lots of thoughts racing around. Feel kind of slow with your brain fog. Just bringing awareness to wherever you are. Knowing that it's normal that our brain is thinking, that we're having thoughts coming in and out of our head. Sometimes we think with meditation or with yoga that we need to empty our mind of thoughts. But rather, we're just changing our relationship to the thoughts, not trying to get rid of them. Notice emotions that are present. Then just being with what is, not trying to force anything out. And if things start to feel overwhelming, if emotions are very strong, see if you can gently explore them, maybe come to the breath as a way to not be overwhelmed by them. A few more moments here, just connecting with all aspects of yourself. Checking in now with your breath. Just following your natural breath in and out. Begin to lengthen and deepen your breath now. You can breathe in and out through your nose. If that's not available and you need to breathe out through your mouth, do that anytime. Find what works for you. I'm going to come now into a specific breathing technique, pranayama. That's the Sanskrit word for breath work, which literally means the prana, the life force energy, and working with controlling is one translation. I don't know if I like that translation a lot. Rather than controlling the life force of managing the life force or working with the life force in a specific way. So working with our breath is one way that we can really channel and specifically manage our life force, our prana. So now we're going to bring one hand to our belly and one to our chest. We're going to work with the wave breath. And we're going to inhale and see if you can notice your top hand rising and then your bottom hand on your belly. And then when you exhale, letting the bottom hand kind of draw in and then the top hand fall a little. So you're pushing air out of the lungs. So on your inhale, you're filling your lungs. Your top hand rises and then your bottom hand. And then as you exhale and the air comes out of your lungs, the bottom hand, falls slightly, and then the top hand. And it's just a slight movement. So don't worry that you have to get a big movement, and you don't want to try not to move the rest of your body, but you're just letting the movement come from your belly and your chest. Again, inhaling, letting the top hand rise, and then the bottom. And exhaling, letting the bottom hand fall slightly or draw in, and then the top hand. A few more rounds of breath like this, following the wave of your breath. Sitting nice and tall, eyes can still be closed or softly open. If your mind wandered off, just gently bring it back to this pattern of breathing. Inhaling, top hand rises, and then the bottom. Exhaling, bottom hand draws in, and then the top. And now taking a moment to set an intention. Sankalpa, it's the word in Sanskrit, which roughly translates as heartfelt desire or resolve. So what is your resolve for today, for the next hour, for the rest of your afternoon? And setting it with compassion, trying to let go of whatever the outcome may be, just trying your best. Put the resolve, the sankalpa, in the present tense, helping it manifest in the here and now. When you're ready, releasing your hands. If your eyes are closed, keeping them open slowly. Hands come to your knees. Let's begin to link some breath and movement now. Starting with just the neck and the head. Going to inhale and lift the chin, lift the nose, open the throat. And exhale, drop your chin to your chest, lengthen the back of your neck. Keep going at the pace of your own breath, moving breath and movement. Gently exploring how this feels in your neck. And also paying attention to other parts of your body. Is there another part that might tend to tense up? What are your shoulders doing? What is your jaw doing? These are common areas that tend to hold tension. Now we're going to pause, come back to center. We're going to expand that movement, bringing the rest of our spine into it now, not just the cervical spine of the neck, the whole back. So when you inhale now, still lift the chin and lift the eyes, open the throat, but bring your chest forward, tilt your pelvis forward. And then as you exhale and drop the chin to your chest, also round back, draw your navel in towards your spine, scooping out the belly, like there's a big beach ball on your lap. And keep moving again at the pace of your breath. Still trying to maintain that deep, even breath. longer, smoother, softer breathing. Do a couple more rounds. And after your next exhale, you round, back up to sitting tall. We're going to add one more layer to this. So in lots of movements or asanas that I teach, I add lots of layers or give options for lots of layers. So you can always find the layer option that feels right for you. There's no one right way or wrong way to do it. So if it feels good to do all three things that I'm going to lead us through now, feel free, but you can always come back to just doing the neck or just doing the neck and the back. So now the third option, the third layer, is to add the arms. So we're going to inhale, chest forward, gaze up, arms sweep back, palms reach back. Exhale, arms sweep forward, like you're hugging that big beach ball. Chin drops, navel draws in. Inhaling, chest forward, pelvis tilts forward, arms back. Exhale, pelvis tilts back, rounding the spine, hugging the beach ball. Keep going at the pace of your breath. So letting your breath lead you, letting it guide your movements, slow and steady. And then after maybe doing one or two more, it will end after the exhale. So take your time. If this feels really good and you want to do three more, do three more, right? Making this your own practice. But we'll eventually meet seated nice and tall again. This is our seated mountain pose. So even, just something as simple as this could be your yoga practice. Rooting down through both the feet, arms on the thighs, or maybe down by your sides, depending on your chair. Shoulders relaxed, top of your head reaching up. And sitting away from the back of the chair if you can, so I'll show from the side, so that you're sitting up nice and tall rather than rounding back into the chair. Sitting up nice and tall, and you're engaging your core a little bit here to keep yourself lifted. So core work doesn't have to be crunches. There's lots of different ways that we can work on engaging our core. So now let's work with the legs, and actually maybe I will stay sideways. And we're going to work with one leg at a time, so lifting your right leg out in front of you. And if it's not comfortable, you'll notice your leg muscles engaging and your core engaging to keep your leg lifted. If it's not comfortable to keep the leg lifted here, you could rest it on an ottoman, a block, or you could have even the heel down. And either you could hold on to the arms of your chair if you have arms, or maybe hands on your hips. And we're going to point and flex with our breath, our foot. So we're going to inhale and point, and then exhale, flex, reach into your heel. Inhale, reach through the toes, stretch the top of the foot. Exhale, flex, reach your toes back towards your face. And keep doing this at the pace of your breath. If you need to, bend your knee, or keep, you can do this on the ground as well. Or grab a block. You do it with the heel on a block. And then take a break for a moment, relax your foot down, sit up tall. And then from here, we're going to lift our leg out again. Again, the heel could rest on a support, or it could be up in the air. And do some circles. First in one direction, and then switch the circle direction. Trying to move just with the ankle, so noticing if your whole leg is moving, see if you can keep your legs steady. And then bending your knee, taking a break. You might notice, right, your thigh and your leg is starting to feel it. You're engaging your muscles of your leg to keep your leg lifted. We're going to do just a little bit more with the right leg, and then we'll switch sides. So we're going to inhale, straighten our leg out, and let's point here, and then flex, Do that a couple more times. And then pause next time you're flexing. And then exhale, bend your knee and point. Inhale, straighten the leg and flex. Inhale, bend the knee up. I'm sorry. Inhale, straighten the leg, exhale, bend the knee up. And try to keep your torso lifted nice and tall as you're doing this. So holding on to the chair or the arms. One more time. And then release. Maybe a moment. And you might notice, again, feeling it in your legs, in your core, and also in these muscles in the front, the hip flexors. And our psoas is one of those muscles. It's a deep muscle that is really important. It attaches at our low back, goes behind our abdominal muscles, and then attaches at our inner thighs. So we need to strengthen this muscle, but also stretch it, and we'll do that in a moment. So because it gets tight from sitting a lot. But we're going to work now with the left side, with the ankle work and the leg work, and then we'll do some things to open up and stretch the psoas. So let's extend the left leg. Again, you could have your knee bent a little, foot on, heel on the ground, heel on a block. And we're going to start with pointing and flexing. So sitting up nice and tall, inhale, point, exhale, flex. Moving slowly with your breath. And then taking a break. Taking a couple deep breaths, sitting tall again. And if it's too much to sit up tall here and you need the support of the back of the chair, take it. So I don't want to say you have to sit away from the back of the chair, but if you can, if you do want the support of the back of the chair, see if you can sit up tall in the chair rather than slouching in the chair. Okay? So I'm going to show this next one with I'm using the support of the chair. And then lifting my left leg again, doing some ankle rotations. First, just pick one direction, do a few. Try to move just the ankle. It could be difficult. Having patience with yourself. Switch directions. So it is hard for me. I'm noticing my whole leg wants to move here. Waking up the ankle and the foot. And then when you're ready, take and you can always do a few more, right? Maybe you need to do a few extra in one direction. It feels a little extra stiff. Being gentle with yourself if you need to take a break earlier. Just stop doing the movement if it doesn't work for you. So now we're going to do the extending and bending. So we're going to inhale, stretch our leg out, do a few more point and flex. And then flexing the foot, inhaling here. Then exhale, bend the knee, point the toes down. Then inhale, reach through your heels, straighten the leg. Exhale, bend the knee, lift it up, and stretch. And so the leg, making this your own. You don't have to lift your knee up a lot. Maybe you just lift it a little. You don't have to perfectly straighten your leg out. Maybe the knee stays down. Up to you. Do a few more. Ooh, I'm starting to feel it. You might start to feel it too. And then when you're ready, take a break, then sitting tall, finding your breath. Follow it in and out. So now we're going to open up in the front of our body, stretch the hip flexors and the psoas. So I'll show a few different ways that this could be done. First, I'm going to show it with the chair, and then some ways you could do it standing or with one knee down. So I'm sitting sideways on my chair. So this requires that you have a chair with no arms. I'm going to scoot over so my right hip is coming off of the chair. And I'm holding on to the back of the chair with my left hand. And then I'm going to tuck my right toes under, bring my right knee to point down. My left knee is bent, my left foot is out under my left ankle, under my left knee. So I could stay here, or I could begin to scoot my right foot back more, straightening my leg, stretching more, either way. And I could stay holding on to the back of the chair for support. So again, here I'm adding the layers. Or I might lift up. Now, if you don't have a chair with without arms, or you want to try this without the chair. And if you're using the chair, you can come out at any time. I don't want to hold people there too long. You could do it with just your right leg coming back. Your right heel is lifted, working to straighten the right leg if you can, lifting the arms up. Or if you need more support, hands could be on a wall, the chair, your hips. So a high lunge. And you could also do a low lunge with your right knee on the ground. And I suggest, now I don't have a support here, but maybe a blanket or your yoga mat underneath your right knee. So your right knee isn't right on a hard surface. So from here, wherever you are, maybe take 3 to 5 breaths in the pose. Breathe into the right thigh, the right hip flexor, opening up the right side of the body, and maybe leaning back into a back bend a little bit. Another layer you can add. And then when you're ready, coming down. So there's 3 options. Again, you could do it standing, kneeling, or in the chair. So now I'm going to show the chair version on the left. So I'm scooting over so my left hip and my left glute are off of the chair. But you want to make sure you're not going to fall off the chair. So I'm holding on to the back of the chair. My left toes are tucked under, my left knee is down. And then I could work my left knee back farther if I wanted. And so this, I have the support of the chair seat under my right glute and hip. I could keep holding on, or I could lift my arms up. And I could do the same thing in the air. So a little more balance in here, but you could always use the wall or your chair for support, or dropping your left knee. Wherever you are, taking a few breaths. Another layer could be lifting the chest up. Drawing the navel in, engaging the glutes, and then lifting the chest up, coming into a slight back bend. When you're ready, slowly coming out, taking your time. So let's come up to standing now. We'll do a few standing poses. We're getting to open up the front of our body. Let's take a few breaths in mountain. So our feet are underneath our hips, palms turned forward, nice and tall, just like our seated mountain. Simple, but a lot going on, and this would be a great place to come and just breathe. Feel strong, rooted, grounded through the feet. So from here, let's inhale, lift our arms up. Exhale, bring your right arm down, reach over with your left, taking a side stretch. Inhale up through center. Exhale over to the other side. Inhaling up. And exhale, arms up to your sides. So taking a breath or two here, I'm going to invite you next time to add in, when we exhale our arms down, to do a forward fold, if that's available to you. So making sure you have space in front of you, adjust if you need to. And when you exhale with that forward fold, of maybe letting it out with a sigh, a big that's another way we can work with pranayama, right? Of this regulating the prana, having how the prana flows in our body. So if it's feeling stuck somewhere, of just this big sigh out can help get it flowing more freely and releasing. So let's do that same half sun salutation sequence again. Inhaling the arms up. And take a variation of the side stretch now. Exhale to the right. So I'm keeping both arms up. You could also bring the arm down. We're going to hold for a couple breaths. You could also grab your left wrist gently. Lots of options, lots of layers. When you're ready, with your inhale, come up. Exhale to the other side. Try to relax in the shoulders. See, I just made that adjustment because my shoulders are way up by my ears. Can I soften a little? Again, you can take a variation. Remembering your breath. With your next inhale, come back up. Take a slight standing back bend here. And exhale now, sighing it out. as you fold down. And your hands can come to the ground, a block, your chair seat. You need to bend in your knees. So if your legs are straight, try not to lock or hyperextend. So what can sometimes happen is we tend to shift all of our weight back into our heels and lock or hyperextend. See if you can soften a little bit and maybe fold forward if it's available to you. Reach the top of your head down. But if that doesn't feel good, if you're taking care of your low back and you want to stay in a half lift where I am right now, you can always do this. The body is just halfway down. The torso is parallel with the ground. Take one more breath wherever you are. And then we're going to root down through the feet and we're going to slowly begin to roll up. Vertebrae by vertebrae, so we're using our core strength here. Another simple way we're using our core. Bringing the top of our head up last. And then doing some shoulder rolls here. Inhaling up, exhaling back. And then inhaling up, exhaling forward. You can bring your elbows into this as well, or even your arms via the space. I like to end with a few more going back because I tend to round forward a lot. So doing what works for you. And then finding our mountain pose. So let's work a little bit with balance. So we'll start from mountain. And we're just going to inhale up onto our toes as we lift our arms up. That's our inhale, and then exhale, palms face down, press down as heels come down. And just doing this a few times with your breath inhaling up, trying to press evenly through all the toes. So notice if you tend to roll out or roll in. So if you tend to roll out, see if you can press through the big toe. If you tend to roll in, you press through the pinky toe. One more. It doesn't have to be a big lift. Just be slightly lifting your hips. And when you're ready, coming back to mountain. So let's come back to our side stretch and explore some balance there. So we're going to inhale our arms up. We're going to gently hold our left wrist with our right hand and gently move it over to the right. So now we're going to shift our weight onto our right leg. Keeping our left foot flexed, we're going to lift the left straight out to the side. So we're not coming forward, we're just moving straight out to the side, lifting it a little or a lot. You can always keep the toes down if you want it. And then coming back up, release, switch sides, inhale here to lengthen, exhale, fold. Shift the weight over to your left leg, and lift your right foot out to the side. Right, things on either side of me. It could be a lot like this, or it could just be slight if you even need toes on the ground. Lots of layers. When you're ready, bring the foot down, lifting up. Inhale here, take a slight standing back bend. Exhale, side out as you fold. And then inhale up. Halfway, you're not already there. If you can, if it feels okay, exhale, fold back in. And now this time, inhale with arms out like wings, long spine, so not rounding. Come up overhead with the arms. Exhale your hands down to heart center. Check in with your intention. What is your resolve? Your son called that. Using your hands down. So let's find the back of our chair now. Do a couple of poses using our chair as a prop. We'll start with a standing camel pose, a back bend. Hands to the back of your chair. Depending on how tall the back of your chair is, your hands will be on the top or on the sides. Toes point away from the chair, straight ahead in front of you, and then walk a little bit away as you begin to think about engaging at the low belly. So using our core here, engaging our glutes. And it's not squeezing for dear life, but we're keeping some engagement there. And then beginning to lift the chest, so back bending, gradually and slowly. If this doesn't feel good, stop at any point and breathe there. You might even begin to lift the chin, open the throat. Trying to keep the back of your neck nice and long, shoulders down. One more breath, hips forward. And when you're ready, slowly coming out. So there's lots of different layers to that pose. You don't have to lean far, far back. You could just slightly puff your chest up, right, and shoulders back. Or maybe you really let your head fall back, but you want to make sure that feels okay on your neck and that you're having some support in the low belly. That's that core engagement, that glute engagement to provide a supportive base for your back bending. So now let's do a forward fold. I'll show two ways, one using the back of your chair, one using the wall. So we'll come either to that, depending on how high your chair is. This might be more like a down dog or like that half lift. So I'm going to walk away from the chair. My toes now are pointing towards the chair. My hands are on the back of the chair, and I'm reaching my hips back. Imagine someone's pulling your hips back, stretching through your arms, your armpits, along your spine. You might feel the backs of your legs waking up to you. Feet are at least hip distance apart. They can even be wider. Your head, if it's okay, can release between your arms and gaze back at your legs. One more breath here. Really pushing your hips back. And then slowly lift your gaze, walk towards your chair. If you have a wall nearby, you can also do this at the wall. So you can have your hands up a little higher than shoulder height and walk away. So this is more like the down dog. From the side as well. Or you could have them about a little bit lower. You can have them at shoulder height or even a little lower and walk away here as like a half lift. So there's different positions where you can put your hands and you can just explore how that feels on your body, right? And thinking about, so I tend to dump my belly down and you see my booty is lifted here and I'm really curving in the low back. See if you can draw your navel in and lengthen your low back more. And then slowly walking up, lifting up. So again, those are just multiple options. There's no one right way to do it. Find what feels right for you. So now I'm going to have us work with our shoulders and opening our chest a little bit more here. We're going to interlace our fingers behind us and reach our knuckles down. And just stay here and breathe for a few moments. Feet can be under your hips. So standing in mountain with the torso, but arms bound behind you. Knuckles reach down, stretching the shoulders, sides of the neck. And then slowly releasing. And maybe just wiggling the fingers for a moment. Notice how it feels. And we're really thinking about bringing our shoulder blades together on our back. Now I want to give us the option to do a forward fold with this if you would like. So having a little bit of space in front of you. And your feet can widen now, so they could come a couple feet apart, or you could get really wide. It's up to you and how wide you want to go. But check in that the outside edges of your feet are parallel to, I would say, the outside edges of your mat, but you might not be using a mat. You don't need to today. But you're slightly pigeon toeing, so you might tiny bit be turning your toes in. Your toes are pointing straight forward. And then from here, interlace again, but this time bring your opposite thumb on top. So it might feel a little awkward, just taking the bind in a different way. And then from here, inhale again, reach your knuckles down, top of your head up. And you can always stay here. If it feels okay, begin to hinge from your hips, so not at your waist. Bend from your hips, long spine. And then begin to lift your arms up away from your back. And you don't have to lift them up very much. This is too intense. Keep them down. Again, lots of layers. If it feels okay, you might fold deeper. Find your edge, we call it in yoga. Your arms could really reach overhead if that's okay. You could stay at that halfway down point. Find what feels right for you. One more breath. Breathe into your shoulders. Squeeze them together on your back. Then release them. Hands to your hips. Inhale, making sure your hips, long spine come up. So you're using your core strength to lift yourself. Step back together to mountain. Just shake it out for a moment. Taking out your shoulders. And turning your head gently, side to side. Shaking out the legs. Coming back now to our mountain pose. Strong and steady, finding a deep, even breath. You might even come back to the wave breath for a moment. Inhaling to chest and then the belly rising. Exhaling, the belly draws in, and then the chest. And when you're ready, you're going to come back to seated. Again, this could be sitting in your chair, or if you're in a cushion or something on your yoga mat, you want to sit on the floor, you can do that. So we'll work a little bit more with the shoulders and the spine. And bring your arms up to cactus arms. And we're going to come into just a gentle twist from here. Trying to keep our elbows lifted level with our shoulders. Inhale here, shoulder blades together on your back, opening across your chest. Exhale, twist to the right, just a small twist. Inhale to center, exhale to the left. Moving with your breath now, side to side. And it's okay, you might notice movement in your hips as you're doing this. That's okay. The hips don't have to stay glued to the chair. Let them move with your spine. The next time that you come over to the right, bring your hands down. Your shoulders might have been feeling that, right? So gaze now behind you. Your left hand is on your right knee. Your right hand is maybe on the back of your chair. Shoulders relax down. You can gaze back behind you. You can gaze to the side. Even more forward if you don't want to come very deep in a twist. Find what feels right for you. So maybe we still maintain that deep, even breath. Sometimes it's harder with twists. And then we're going to inhale, come back to center with cactus arms. Exhale, arms down to the other side. Left hand comes behind you, goes over your shoulder. Right hand comes to your left knee. Now, if that's not comfortable, to gaze back over your shoulder, gaze to the side, or even more forward. So find the expression of the twist that works best for you here. And then when you're ready, slowly coming back to center, unwinding. Checking in with your body and what you need. So now I'm going to show a little work that opens up the front of the body again. But this requires a chair that does not move, so not an office chair on wheels. And if you do have that chair, I can show you a variation on the ground, or you could just observe this one. So I'm going to turn just to the side so you can see me, and if your chair might slide against the wall, I'm bracing my chair back against this bookshelf so that doesn't happen. What I'm going to do is have my knees bent in front of me. I'm scooting towards the front of my chair, and this is a place I could stay, just right here near the front edge, And I'm beginning to bring my hands back on the seat of the chair and pop up my chest here, just back bending a little bit. My fingers are reaching towards my bottom. If that doesn't work for you and you rather like hold on to the sides of the chair, you could do that as well. If you wanted to, you could begin to walk forward maybe a little more and lift your bottom away from the chair. So you're trying to lift your hips up, slightly engage your glutes. Maybe a couple deep breaths here. And maybe you gaze up at the ceiling. Keep lifting your hips and then coming down. But this can be intense in the shoulders and the arms, so if that didn't feel good for you, if you couldn't keep your hips lifted, start by just kind of walking towards the edge of your chair and puffing up your chest, keeping your bottom down. So if this doesn't work for your chair, like if your chair is going to slide or has wheels, and if you have space available on the floor or yoga mat, you could do, it's called reverse table, where your hands are on the floor, fingertips facing forward, feet are down about hip distance apart in front of you. Try to keep all of your toes down, and you would inhale and lift the torso up, and maybe let the head come back. But really keeping the torso lifted, engaging the glutes slightly, drawing the belly in. And again, you could do this by just lifting the chest up, keeping the bottom down, or maybe you explore just lifting the bottom a tiny bit just for a moment, and then coming down. So there's lots of layers with this one as well. And if you want to try it one more time, feel free. Setting it up either on the ground or on the chair, not pushing yourself too hard. So if your arms and shoulders are feeling a little fatigued, maybe keeping your bottom down. Or just lift up a tiny bit just for a breath. When you're ready, slowly making your way to sitting tall once again. Just going to adjust. Let's take a few breaths in through the nose. Exhale, sigh it out. Again. So doing lots of hard work today. Engaging our core, working our shoulders and our arms. So taking a few moments to congratulate yourself. Give yourself kudos and compassion for whatever you were doing today. And also compassion when you took a break. So often we just give ourselves kudos for working really hard or pushing ourselves too hard. But knowing that we also need to give ourselves compassion and a pat on the back when we know that we need a break and we take it. So now I invite you to get comfortable, either seated or if you do have a yoga mat out on the floor and you want to lay down, you could lay down as well. We're going to do a yoga nidra practice. And a yoga nidra practice is like a body scan. We're going to move through different parts of the body, bringing your awareness there. And I ask that you try not to move during the yoga nidra practice. And that's not to say if you're in pain or uncomfortable not to move, but try not to fidget. So, my nose itches or I want to wiggle my fingers. Try not to do those fidgety movements. But again, if you're in pain, if something is uncomfortable, please definitely move, adjust yourself so you're comfortable. So taking a few minutes now to do that. And if you're feeling like, again, sitting away from the back of the chair, it's a lot of work and it's not uncomfortable anymore, you can lean back against the chair, but try to still keep your spine nice and tall and not slouch down into the chair. So taking a couple moments to settle in. And this can be done with your eyes open or closed, up to you. If your eyes are open, gazing away from the screen now, softening your gaze maybe down at the floor. Its head is still lifted. Follow your breath in and out. We'll start the yoga nidra by repeating our sun called rock. 3 times, our intention. Just repeat it to yourself 3 times. Making any last adjustments that you need to so that you're sitting tall and not fidgeting or moving the body. And now we'll begin by bringing our awareness to the top of our heads. Just noticing any sensation there. And it's okay if some areas don't feel sensation, just trying the best you can. Just exploring whatever it is. So lack of sensation is a valid sensation. Now moving to the back of your head. See if you can focus your attention there and notice. Observe. Now bring your awareness over to your left ear. Your left temple. The middle of your forehead. Now bring your awareness over to your right temple and your right ear. Now bring your awareness to your right cheekbone and your right eye. Notice the space between your eyebrows. Notice the bridge of your nose. Your right nostril, your left nostril. Bring your awareness now to your left eye and your left cheekbone. Notice now your lips, your upper lip and your lower lip. Bring your awareness to your teeth in your mouth, the roof of your mouth, and your tongue, the left side of your jaw, and the right side of your jaw. Bring your awareness now to your chin. Again, some areas might have a lot of sensation, others might feel soft or relaxed, some might feel tight or tense, some might feel neutral or like there's nothing there. So there's no one right or wrong. Everything is a valid experience, and just try to notice, just try to observe. If any area is too much sensation, feel free to move away from it. You can go to another part of your body, or maybe just come to your breath. And we will keep moving, so I'm not going to hold us in any one place. But knowing that moving on your own is always available, moving your awareness. So now bring your awareness to your throat, the back of your neck, the left side of your neck, your left shoulder, your left shoulder blades, the back of your shoulders. Now the left upper arm, your left elbow, your left forearm, your left wrist, the back of your left hand, and the palm of your left hand. Notice your left thumb, your first finger, your middle finger, your ring finger, and your left pinky finger. Feel your whole left hand, your whole left arm, and back up to the shoulder and the neck. Then the left side of your collarbone, moving over to the right side of your collarbone, the right side of your neck. Notice your right shoulder, your right shoulder blade, your right upper arm, your right elbow, your right forearm. Bring your awareness to your right wrist, the back of your right hand, the palm of your right hand, your right thumb, your right first finger, middle finger, ring finger, and right pinky. Feel your whole right hand. Feel your whole right arm. Back up the arm, back up to the shoulder, the collarbones. Feel both arms. Into your chest. Notice your breastbone, your sternum, your ribs, your belly. Notice the left side of your torso, your back and your spine, your mid-back, your lower back. Notice the right side of your torso. And back around to the front of your torso, notice your navel. Bring your awareness to your lower belly. Bring your awareness to your pelvis. The left side of your pelvis, your left hip, your left glute, the left outer thigh, inner thigh, top of your left thigh, and back of your left thigh. Notice your knee, the back of your left knee and the top. Notice your left shin and your calf, the back of your leg. Notice your left heel, your left ankle, the top of your left foot, the sole of your left foot. Bring your awareness now to your left big toe, your second toe, third toe, fourth toe, your whole left foot, and your whole left leg. Then try not to fidget, trying the best you can to bring your awareness to each part of your body, knowing it's okay if an area doesn't feel a lot of sensation, or if your mind wanders off, just gently bring it back. You start to fall asleep, gently come back to the sound of my voice, to the sound and pacing of your breath, in your inhale, your exhale. And back up to the pelvis, over to the right side of your pelvis. Notice your right hip, your right glute, the outside of your right leg, the inside, the top of your right thigh, the back of your right thigh, your right knee, the top and the back of your leg, your right calf, the back of your leg, and then the top of your right lower leg, your shin. Notice your right heel, your right ankle, the top of your right foot, the sole of your right foot. Bring your awareness now to your right big toe, your second toe, third toe, fourth toe, and notice your whole right foot and your whole right leg. Bring your awareness up the leg, back to your pelvis. You feel both of your legs. Now bringing your awareness to your whole torso, front, back, sides. Now bringing your awareness to your whole head, your face, the back of your head, the top of your head, the sides of your head, and your ears. Now bringing your awareness to the whole front side of your body. From toes up to the face, the forehead. And now the whole back side of your body. From the back of your head, your spine, your bottom, backs of your legs, down to your heels, and the soles of your feet. bring awareness now just to the whole left side of your body. Left leg, arm, left side of your torso, left side of your face. And now the whole right side of your body. Right ear, side of your face, right arm, right leg. And now integrating it all, trying to bring awareness to your whole body. Noticing your body sitting in the chair or lying on the floor, feeling the support of the chair or the floor underneath you. Feeling your whole body light and your whole body heavy. Finding a balance between the light and the heavy. Coming back now to your intention. This one called back. Repeating it 3 times. Following the breath in and out. When you're ready, your eyes were closed, slowly breathing out. Gradually coming back into the space. So that was the Yoga Nidra practice. And Yoga Nidra is like a body scan. It's specific to yoga. And it translates as yoga sleep. But the idea isn't that we just fall asleep, but our body becomes in a totally rested state, like we're sleeping, and our mind stays awake, but becomes clearer, becomes more calm and focused. So it's okay if you did fall asleep during that. It's very common, and I think there can still be some benefits even if you were asleep, right? It's hearing like subconsciously my voice. And it's a great practice to do before bed if you have trouble sleeping. But the idea is to try to stay awake if you can, but let your whole body begin to soften. And not to force relaxation, but just to kind of move through awareness of each part of the body. Yeah, I think that's all I'll say about that on Yoga Nidra. So we'll just end with our hands at heart center. Thank you all for sharing your practice with me today. Namaste.